feel about being the first local artist to open and perform here at Gardens, by the way?
Really excited. It's a beautiful venue. Lots of, we were given a tour, we took a look around and went to the Cloud Forest. It was
The
beautiful.
Cloud Forest.
Amazing.
Yeah.
The waterfall.
Yeah.
And it's just a wonderful setting to just reflect and to just, sort of think and just to be and to just... It opens itself for reflection, and I think it goes well with music. So I like that.
So do you think that the venue actually affects your performance when you're actually doing the concert?
Yeah, usually a venue will affect the way that you feel about the music and about how you portray it, and how it does affect the way that people in the audience feel too.
Okay.
When they're in the midst of nature, I'm sure it opens up a different feeling, like when you're under the stars, versus if you are in a smoky, environment in a closed club. So the openness of the space, I'm sure it will lend itself well to music. So I'm happy to be doing a concert.
So your latest album, Cricket Lines, was released in March, and it's already gone gold right here in Singapore. It's #1 on the local charts for 4 consecutive weeks, beating out Madonna's MDNA album as well. How do you feel about that?
I'm really quite humbled by that, and quite I'm happy. Glad to know that that I've still got my
Magic.
the listeners are really supportive of the music that I make, and it's great.
Absolutely, you're a favorite here. On Class 95, you're a definite favorite. You're a staple on our playlist, so congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
And your daughter, Claire,
Yes,
Crooked Lines is your first album since you gave birth to Claire. How has motherhood changed you or perhaps influenced your music?
I find that I look at things with a more childlike wonder through her eyes, because she will focus on something like the moon or a butterfly or a flower, and she'll notice it in things that I wouldn't notice, like even in a daytime sky when you usually wouldn't notice the moon. She would look up and she'd say, "Mama, the moon," and I'd look up and there's the moon in a silhouette, but she notices these things. So it's amazing that she brings such joy to my life. And I never knew that joy before, so it's something that has really helped me to grow as a person, and I hope it translates to the songs as well. And in the way that she's taught me how to love, and to just to learn about the value of sacrifice. I usually do go into my journal to look for song ideas, and I'll draw the line if it gets too cheesy. Like say, if I usually don't get too cheesy, but if there's something there, like if I'm talking about a cat or something that I don't think people will relate to, like maybe my hamster just passed away. I don't think I'm going to write about that, right? But if it's talking about emotions that I feel that I want to share and I want to get out of my system, I think honesty is pretty good as a policy as a songwriter. When I'm back in LA, I could drive for hours in any direction and still not, I could hit the ocean on one side. I could drive for 2 weeks in the other direction, maybe hit the East Coast. But that whole mental, freedom in terms of the geographic space, it does affect the way that you create things. And I like that when I go back to LA, I have my own space. I could drive to the monastery if I needed to in an hour and a half and just be in the middle of a desert with nobody else around and just center myself and write. That's something I probably wouldn't be able to find here. Even though, I have my friends and my family here. That's a benefit of being in Singapore, is to sort of just come together, develop those relationships that I love, that have molded me, sort of zone in on myself. So those two, I feel like I've got one foot in one place and one foot in another, but they all come together to, to make me who I am. It's also more nurturing in that sense here in Singapore, because I think, for example, NAC and other organizations have kind of stepped in to have bursaries and scholarships. In fact, I was a recipient of one of the bursaries when I went to Berkeley, and NAC helped out with some of the funding that I had when I went to school in music college in Berkeley. So that's something where you don't really see much of in LA. In LA, it's kind of like you're there by yourself. You kind of float or you sink. You kind of swim or you sink, right? Down here, it's a more nurturing environment, because I think we need to develop the music here. It's not like it's already there. It's kind of growing, it's kind of in its teenager years, and it's good that there is support for it. And I hope the support keeps on growing, because it's much needed. For example, I hope to hear more local music on radio, and that's something that hasn't really altogether been addressed. You know, even from the time I started out till now, there have been little steps, but not enough. I think we need to hear more.
We'll work on it.
Yeah, so that would be great.
We'll work on it.
Maybe like a percentage, like 20%.
I know, I feel the
playlist.
same way. I feel the same way.
That would be wonderful.
Thank you
Alright.
so much, Corrinne.
Thank you.